Welcome to Chasing Excellence, the informative, educational, and entertaining podcast series featuring positive and inspiring stories of entrepreneurs. Now, here's your host, Cathy Hogan.
Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to three phenomenal women who are out making a difference in the world through the organizations that they represent. First off is Ms. Andrea Barclay with Because One Matters, Bobbie Menneg with Beyond the Ribbon, and Melanie Conner with Rainbow Village. Welcome, ladies. So glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you glad you're here? Give us a little bit of your background and how you got involved with the organization, what the basics are for the organization, and what your biggest needs are. So who wants to go first?
Because one matters.
Yes. One.
Thank you.
Number one. Okay. Andrea, you're up.
Okay. All right. So Because One Matters started years and years ago, but I'm going to fast forward and talk about one day. I was in church one day at 12 Stone. And my pastor talked about, if you can't do the big thing, do the small thing towards the big thing. And that's when God really spoke to me and said, hey, go do what I told you to do 20 years ago. So I reached out to DFACS, and we spoke about doing something for the kids in foster care. So we started out with a carnival, and we just thought this was the best thing ever, but that was not what God had planned or in store for me to do. And then we started having birthday parties. Then we expanded to doing Home for the Holidays, where we serve the older kids, where we provide them full course meals for Thanksgiving and Christmas in partnership with another nonprofit. We've expanded where we do Christmas parties, back to school events, and just recently we launched our clothing closet, where the families could come in and shop for all their clothing, toiletry, toys for the kids in foster care, those that are adopted out of foster care, and those that are in kinship care.
Okay, great. I've had the pleasure of working out with Andrea on some of these events, and they do a fine job, so I can vouch for you today.
Thank you.
Miss Melanie, how about you next?
Yeah, so Rainbow Village is I like to call it a transformational community. We are an organization that provides services for families experiencing homelessness, and we provide housing and a wealth of other services. So all the wraparound services is the language that's typically used, but that's mental health, financial stability, well-being, all of the things that the families need to get back on their feet. I got into this role because I worked in corporate America for a long time and really, really wanted to do something different. And so I decided, I decided to step away. Actually, my company decided I was going to step away and go and do something different. And it was the perfect time to be able to do that. They were paying me for a year, and all the benefits and all that. So I had a full year to really just kind of be prayerful and think about what I wanted to do with my life from that point. So this opportunity actually came up because the former CEO, I met her several years ago, and she called me up out of the blue. Actually, she looked me up on LinkedIn after having not talked with her in about 10 years. Looked me up on LinkedIn and said, hey, I'm retiring. Not sure if you're interested. And I was like, where is Duluth? I don't know where that is. But once I figured out where it was, and we came up, and the timing, everything, and I say this all the time, but it was definitely God's plan. Everything lined up to make it possible for us to be able to make this move. So we packed up and moved to Duluth, and the rest is history, as they say.
And how long have you been there?
So 6 years. It'll be 6 years in December.
Okay. I remember when you came out, and but I didn't realize it was 6 years ago.
Okay. Well, it's with COVID, it's like dog years.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Nobody remembers anything from the last 3 years, right? Myself included. Okay, Miss Bobbie, would you jump on in?
Yeah, so I'm Bobbie Menneg with Beyond the Ribbon, and I started Beyond the Ribbon 6 years ago. My reason is because I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer 12 years ago. And so going through that journey, I was very fortunate in doctors, insurance, and my job, support system. And I started volunteering with Susan G. Komen, American Cancer Society, and at our infusion center. And I come to find out not so many are as fortunate. And so it just, God said, "Hey, you got to go do this," and I was like, "What?"
There's a God theme here today.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Nothing wrong with that.
I been doing it. We started it with a group of other survivors, and it's a blessing to be able to be a part of these patients' journey because, I'm there in the beginning when they're diagnosed, and I've been there when they've passed away, and I've become very close with their families, and it becomes, just like these ladies, it's very personal. And it's my mission and my passion, just like these ladies. And I love what they do. I've worked with Melanie a lot with some cancer patients that have come through her organization. And Andrea's program is also, just phenomenal. So I'm always blessed and love to be a part of organizations like this because we are our boots on the ground in Gwinnett. So
Absolutely. Community connectors. Amanda and I were talking about this the other day. There's such a great need out there for these sort of services, and a lot of people didn't even know they exist. So the fact that you are in it, and I'm trying to get you some more exposure, not that you haven't had a lot already, but never hurts to get more, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Right.
Because let me tell you, when I joined the chamber 5 years ago, whenever it was, I went in with the idea of obviously expanding my business and making relationships, but on the backside of that was I made it so that it would push me back into working with charities again, which I used to volunteer with a lot of charities. And the first person I hooked up with was this lovely lady here. And I said, it was meant to be. Because I told her, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I told you that it's so funny I met you because I was thinking of getting involved with foster children.
I remember that, yep.
So that was an added bonus for joining the chamber. Plug for the Gwinnett Chamber there. Now, Bobbie, let's go back to you. Did you start the organization or did you join it?
No, I started
You started it, okay.
We're 100% grassroots. What makes us a little different than other organizations that will help cancer families is that we'll pay for prescriptions, transportation, meals. We did a back to school drive. We adopt families for Christmas. When you have a cancer diagnosis, it's more than just pay the rent and pay the utility bill.
Right.
I had one family that contacted me. The dad's a stage 3 pancreatic patient, and he's in and out of the ER every weekend, where everybody knows how much gas is. And so, they reach out to me and say, can you help us with gas? Well, absolutely. And the other thing is that we can respond, quickly, where it could be 2 to 3 weeks, to find help for this patient. And I think that's what makes us different, the ladies here at the table.
Do you work through the Cancer Society to get the information out about your organization, or how do people know? I think I was telling you a couple of months ago, I just lost a really good friend in January from cancer, and she really didn't know where to go for anything. And you would have been so helpful for her had I known, what services that you offered and everything. So how do you get the word out about what you do?
The majority of the patients that I get, I work extremely close with our social workers at Northside, Gwinnett, and Duluth. So they do all the vetting for me, so I don't have to make patients jump through that hoop.
That's good.
And they're already in a crisis mode when they get to me. So I get most of the patients through them, but then just touching people in our lives, people that I've connected with on my journey. They meet someone and they go, oh, hey, let me introduce you to Bobbie. So it's basically word of mouth.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Melanie, tell us about Rainbow Village. I know you guys are getting ready to have a big gala. And I'll tell you, I know that because I follow you guys. And I used to volunteer for that gala years ago. I did it about 12 years ago. I was on the planning committee for several years. It was a lot of fun, and I actually went to one time. So it's a really good event to go to if you get an opportunity.
It's a great event. You can still come.
Yes, ma'am.
There's still time.
I think I committed the sin of saying I volunteered a couple
Yes,
of years.
yes. So October 7th, yes, is the biggest fundraiser of the year for us. and we've been, very, very blessed to raise a good gob of money to be able to help the families that we serve. So October 7th at the Atlanta Athletic Club. If there are people out there listening, if it's before October 7th, rainbowvillage.org is where you want to go, so that you can get your tickets.
Okay, great. Andrea, I know you do some events too. Do you have anything coming up?
We don't have any fundraisers coming up, but we are planning our Christmas party for the children that we serve. So we're doing a big skate breakfast,
Skate breakfast.
Christmas party
Okay.
for them in December.
And are you still doing the Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner things?
Yes, and we're still doing Home for the Holidays. Oh, I did forget. We do have a fundraiser coming up. I'm sorry, Lucretia.
She's going to come get you.
Our Fun Fit Day fundraiser, that is to benefit our Home for the Holidays. It will be at Alexander Park. We have registration online, so go to becauseonematters.org and you can register. Or just show up at Alexander Park on October 25th at 9 a.m.
Can you go into a little bit more detail? I know how you do this, but tell people what that consists of, the Home for the Holidays thing.
So the Home for the Holidays is we partner with another nonprofit and we provide full course meals for those young adults that are aging out of foster care. We provide them meals for Thanksgiving and Christmas. This year, actually for the last 3 years, we've had a chef that volunteered her time and she prepares all the meals. And so we have volunteers that deliver the meals to these young adults. In addition to the meals, we do grant them their Christmas wishes, Christmas decorations, and just make sure that they have a really good Christmas in their own home.
Do you help with furnishings and things like that too?
We do not, but the nonprofit that we partner with, they do.
And
She
who is
provides
that?
them Yes for Youth,
Yes.
and she provides them with housing, life skills, and all that. So we just come alongside her and support her in making sure that these young adults have a really great Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay. And how long have you been doing these programs? I know you've told me, but I can't
We've been
remember.
around for 8 years.
8 years,
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And, let's jump on forward. What is your greatest need for your organization? What would help you? Well,
We can all answer that one in
Yeah,
one
one
in one
word.
time.
money.
Yeah.
Money.
Well,
Show
money.
me the money.
If it's not money oriented, what would it be? Do you have volunteer opportunities or
Oh,
what?
yeah, I would say volunteer opportunities.
Give us an
is
example.
Always.
What-
Well, we have a car show coming up. We have a golf tournament, and we have a 5K. And then, like Andrea, we also adopt the families. So, if you want to go shopping for our families, we get together and wrap the presents and then deliver. So, yeah, there's always an opportunity.
Okay. Now, Melanie, what about you?
Yeah, so we have a variety of opportunities for volunteers, whether you want to do heavy lifting or you're moving furniture into the apartments and spreading mulch in the, on the yard. But specifically right now, we are looking for individuals to serve as mentors. We're looking for mentors for both our adults and our children. So we're going to partner. I just met this man the other day, so yeah, we're partnering. But
Whether he knows it or
he doesn't
not.
know it yet. But we're going to be partnering with Gwinnett County Public Schools. They have their community mentoring program, and that program allows the mentors to go into the schools with the kids and work with them and all that. I know you're familiar with that, Andrea. And so we're going to be looking for that with some of our children. And then for the adults, we'll be looking for mentors, both male and female, to work with the adults in the family. So it's a one-to-many mentoring. So if I'm a resident of Rainbow Village, I may have 3 or 4 mentors that are working specifically with me, and that's because that brings a different. All have different worldviews, backgrounds, experience, connections, all those things, and that creates a little village within the village, and so it gives them an opportunity to have that support, and that will start about 6 months before they move out of Rainbow Village, and we're asking for a year commitment. So 6 months before they move out, and then about 6 months after they move out. Because what we have found is that we put a lot of energy and effort and resources into supporting the families, and then when they leave, they're frightened because they've had all this support, and now all of a sudden we're saying bye-bye. And so we're looking for ways to make sure that we're undergirding the work that we're doing and making sure that it's holding, it's sticking, and these mentors will be able to help us do that.
Okay, great.
Okay, for us, we've got a couple things that our greatest needs are. We are launching something called Duffelmania, where individuals or organizations can sponsor purchasing a duffel bag and filling it in with the items that we need that we provide to the kids that are coming into foster care. So if a company wants to sponsor 10 duffel bags, we'll give them a specific age group, newborn to 2T or 5T to another age group, or teenagers. So if they want to do that, we're definitely doing that. It's called Duffelmania. We're also looking for organizations or individuals to donate gift cards. The teens are not coming into the closet to shop because they want specific things. So what we've done is that Cathy and her team, we're providing duffel bags with toiletry, but included in that bag, we're giving the teens a $75 gift card so they could go out and shop for their own items that they want.
For those people that would want to be involved in that, do you give them a list of things to put in it?
Yes.
Is it specific?
Yes.
I know you said size, and I know how some of that works.
Based on size. So, for example, if we're doing a 2T to 5T, it would include 3 new outfits, toiletry, meaning toothpaste, toothbrush, lotion, shampoo, 2 pajamas, washcloth, bath towels, a toy, a book. So that's what we would include in the duffel bags.
Just not white towels.
Just not white towels, yes. No white towels.
I thought,
And
white
that came
is
from
so
Cathy.
basic. And Andrea said, we don't
No.
use white towels.
Well, we don't give
so I
our
learned.
kids white towels. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what are your plans for the next year? What do you look to see your organization do or accomplish, or I guess just project where you see yourself in another year?
Melanie?
Hey, I'm happy to talk about where we're trying to go. So, we are actually. We currently have 30 apartments on our complex. We have under contract right now the lot next door to us, and we're trying to build 36 additional units of housing. So it would more than double the number of families that we're able to serve, still right there in downtown Duluth. And so we're really excited about that. So I will be really, really busy, but really, really excited about the opportunity to serve more families. So, hopefully have opportunity to come back here again and talk more about it so that, as we make progress, and tell folks how they can get involved in that as well.
Okay, great. Bobbie.
Wow. It's just more programs, more opportunities for our families to come together. We do support groups and we've done retreats. So I'm really going to increase those for them.
Tell me about the retreats. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm always like, let's try something outside of the box. So last weekend, there were 18 of us. It was all free to our patients. And we went to Lake Lanier, and we were right there on the lake. We had Dr. Derek do stretching, and then they went out in a dragon boat and did paddling on the lake. And then they came back, and we did yoga under the trees right there on the water. And then we had a light lunch, and they got to connect. And I know that's very important for someone who's diagnosed with cancer, is just being able to connect with another individual, because we get it. We understand your fears,
right.
and if you can just breathe and just be in the moment and enjoy life, because we also have a lot of metastatic moms, and there's no cure for that. So for them to come out with their mate or by themselves and just be. It's very important, because you can't take life for granted, and every day is very important.
I can relate to that. Back to my friend that passed away. She went through several bouts of breast cancer, and then it got really bad. Towards the end, she went through everything you can do, she went through. And at the end, she said, I would call her and I'd say, what can I do for you today? Do you need me to bring dinner? Do you need me to bring lunch? What can I do? She would say, can you just come by and talk to me? I don't want to think about cancer today.
Yep.
And that's kind of along the line of what you just said.
Yeah.
They just want to be normal for one day,
Yes.
to where that's not weighing down. And I can understand that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good that you did. Was that a one-day thing or a weekend?
Yeah,
or
it was
what?
just an afternoon thing. We've done it over at the Hudgens. They're a great partner of ours, and we're looking at doing a wholeness and wellness event next year. So anything that they can do to just be in the moment, get their mind right, and be able to fight for their lives. And however I can do that, I let them kind of guide me and say, what would you like to do? And I'll just, I'll try and go out and make it happen.
Do they do support groups through your organization?
Yes,
where
I
they
actually do
brainstorm?
one. Yeah, once a month we do that over at Northside Hospital, Gwinnett. It's just so helpful to be with another survivor. We learn more from one another than what we can really learn from the doctor. Just because knowledge is power, being your own advocate, just like for your families, that's what it's all about. And just being able to connect and say, I've been there. It's okay. You're gonna get through this.
And that's more of a personal touch. It's not so clinical.
Yes.
They're filling their brains with chemical, anything, clinical, chemical,
Yeah.
whatever, and they just want to stop.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd think I'm running the place because I know I went through this with her for 6 years, so I
Yeah.
got well versed on something I didn't really know I needed to be
Yeah.
versed on, but you sure would have been a big help to her. We're coming back to you since you skipped over and threw it on Miss Melanie.
Okay, so this September we launched a club called the Clarion Club in Barrow County. We'll be in all the middle and high schools in Barrow County. So for next year, we will be recruiting more facilitators to come in and work with the students. It's a life skill club, so it's not a mentoring program. It's a life skill club that talk to the students about life. What is it that they want to do after they graduate high school? It could be that they want to go to college. So we have a college readiness program. We have a workforce readiness program. We have bullying as one of our programs. We have teaching them about nonprofits. So their assignment at the beginning of the school year is that they have to identify a nonprofit and go out and work with that nonprofit and identify a need and service that need. It's a year-long program for them. So we have 9 different subject areas that we work with the students on. And so we'll be recruiting more facilitators for that because our goal is to be in all the middle and high schools in Barrow County. And another thing that we are working on currently and hoping that by the end of next year we'll be able to implement is to get a larger space. We have a clothing closet, and Cathy and her volunteers are doing an awesome job. But we're running out of space. We have the clothing closet, and then we have a storage unit, and it just doesn't make sense that we have 2 places. So we're looking for a larger location, whether that is a rental or a purchase, where we're looking at that. And also, finally, being able to pay some people in the organization. So we're working on that.
We're back
So-
to that money thing again.
Yes,
aren't
we're back
we?
to that money thing, because that's important. So, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. You said it wasn't mentoring, but what did you call them, facilitators?
Facilitators.
Do
yeah.
they go into the schools, or do you
Yes.
meet the kids one-on-one?
No, they go into the schools. Like right now, we are in Appalachia High School. That is our first school that we're in. And so the facilitators come in and they meet with the student once a month. So if it's finance, we will talk to them. The facilitator will talk to them about maybe it's banking, how to manage their finance, or what it takes to own an apartment or home. A lot of kids think that the only thing that you have to do when you have an apartment is pay your rent. They don't realize this.
A lot of adults think that
Yes,
Or buy
exactly.
a house and
Or buy a
everything
car.
magically gets paid.
Right.
Yeah, so part of that
Right.
is that the facilitator will come in and talk to them about that. On the weekend, then we'll take them to a bank and help them open a savings account. And we're going to partner with Peach State Federal Credit Union to do the banking for the students. So we'll take them into the bank, get them that experience, open a bank account, encourage them, give them incentives. So if they make sure that if they put 10% of, if they do, any kind of work and they get $10, if they put 10% of that $10 into the savings account, the student with the most money at the end of the school year will also give them some additional money on that. So it's just teaching them how to be responsible and also teaching them about the nonprofit sector, because a lot of, we polled them at our first meet and greet and said, what do you know about nonprofits? And they knew nothing. And let them know there's a whole industry that they could get involved with and even giving back to their community. So.
Question for both Melanie and Andrea. When you're talking about these mentors and facilitators, does any of that include financial education? Because we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I've always said they don't teach that in school.
No, they
and
do
that's why a
not.
lot of people get in trouble, early or late.
Yes.
And it needs to be required. So are you guys incorporating
Yes.
any of that into the program?
Finance is definitely included in ours, yeah.
Yeah, and we do as well. I mean, even with our adults and our children. So with the adults, it's a key part of it for them. So they have to have a savings account. They save 30% of their income. They, our key indicators are for us is to help them increase their income, decrease their debt, and increase their credit score. So we're looking at those three things. And we're starting also to work with the kids because what we found is, we have a 34, 38-year-old woman who doesn't know anything about her finances. They don't understand credit. They don't understand the importance of a credit score. They don't understand interest. If you ask them, well, how much are you paying? What interest rate do you have on that car? I don't know. So, really want to make sure that they understand. But like you said, though, they're not teaching it in school. And so we want to find some creative ways to not only get to the teenagers, but also to the younger kids, because the younger we start, the better it will be. So finding little ways to help them, earn money. We're looking at using the green light cards that they can get. So we put money on it as they earn things, and then if they're anything like my kids, they don't like to spend their money; they want to spend yours. Right? But
Well, yours is theirs, right?
Yes, exactly. But just providing them some options and opportunities to do that.
And that's exactly why we are trying to do that in the schools, because we want to, when they get to be an adult, that they really understand.
Absolutely.
Because I was talking to a young man, and we were talking, it was like, I don't want to go to college, I just want to go work. And I was like, okay. He's like, I'm going to get my own apartment. And I'm like, well, how much does your apartment cost? And he's like, I have a job at McDonald's, and if I get my apartment, I said, well, what about water, light,
Oh, I have
cable?
to pay for that?
He's
Is that what
like,
they
I
say?
thought that was included in the
No.
apartment, the rent. I was like, no. So, it's really, that's what the Clarion Club is about, is really teaching them, getting them ready for adults, to being an adult. And you have to start, I really strongly believe that you really need to start at least at the middle school level.
Yeah. So I went to Coleman Middle School. They've given me opportunity a couple times to cover and speak to all the sixth graders, and I'm not really a kid person like that, but I did it.
Well, they're a different creature.
It's a
those middle
different kind of
schoolers,
thing.
yeah.
But they all were looking for, they were supposed to be working on a project about homelessness. So that's why I was invited. And so part of the exercise that I did with them was to ask them, well, what kind of house do you want? How much is your house going to cost? And all that. And they, of course, they all had to outdo each other, but they all started like 5 million, 5 million, 10 million, 3.1 million. And so I said, that's great. How much money do you think you're going to be making, or that you'll need to make in order to do that? So I asked one of the kids, he said, probably about $25K. And I was like,
At your house payment.
yeah, right. So
He's got some insight on something I don't. And I'm
clearly.
going to call this kid.
Right. So it's just, but to the point is that they don't fully understand it. So
They don't.
the more we can do to educate them early,
Yes,
the better.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. I don't know why they never started that. So, yeah, we're on a mission to teach finance to kids in grade school, or at least middle school. Well, ladies, I am so glad you came today, and I appreciate everything you're doing. You guys reminded me of a saying, one of my favorite sayings, and it just relates to what you're out there doing, and it is, the world is full of dreamers, and the world is full of doers. But what the world really needs is dreamers who are also doers. And you guys are out there being dreamers who are also doers. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us. It's great.
Okay. Well, this is Chasing Excellence, and I'm your host, Cathy Hogan. And as always, stay fearless, friends. Until next time, bye-bye.